Hello friends, welcome to the next session under machine learning data lecture series. Previous lectures we saw what is supervised machine learning, k nearest neighbor as supervised machine learning algorithm. We saw its implementation in Python. Today we are looking at another supervised machine learning classification algorithm, that is decision tree. Of course, decision trees are used for both classification and regression, but here we'll talk about decision tree as classification algorithms. Right? So let's start with this. So decision tree is one of the predictive modeling approaches, right, used in statistics, data mining, and machine learning. Now, what do you mean by predictive modeling? Predictive modeling is commonly used statistical technique where we predict future behavior, right? So how does it work? So data is collected, a statistical model is formulated, and predictions are made, and the model is validated. So validated using the data which is not used while training the model, right? So decision trees are type of supervised machine learning, right? Where the data is continuously split according to certain parameters. Right? So they are constructed by an algorithmic approach that identifies ways to split a data set based on different conditions. Right? So here at each step, the data set is split, right? The attributes are split. So it is one of the most widely used and practical method for supervised learning. The goal is to create a model that predicts the value of a target variable by learning simple decision rules in the form of if-then-else statements. So decision tree is nothing but it's a sequence of if-then-else statements, right? As I already said, it's used for both classification as well as regression problems, right? Now, so decision trees where the target variable takes a discrete set of values are called classification trees. And the learning algorithm used there is ID3, one of the most common decision tree algorithm, right? Which is used for classification. And decision trees where the target variable take continuous values are called regression trees, right? And the learning algorithm used there is CART, right? Now, when we are talking about decision tree represents uses the tree representation to predict the value of a target variable to solve the problem. So a tree is drawn upside down with the root at the top, right? Now, tree can be explained by two entities, namely decision nodes and the leaves. The leaves are the decisions or the class label, and the attributes are represented on the internal nodes of the tree. The decision nodes are where the data is split. You can just check it everywhere, right? The data is split. The path from the root to the leaf node represents the classification tree. Fine. As we already said, it is nothing but it is a sequence of if then else statements, right? And the root is the initial question or the problem we want to solve. So here we have a simple example you can see of a binary classification because you have only yes or no. So it's a binary classification, right? Now, let us see we want to predict whether a person will do online shopping or no. What is the data given? So information like the age of the person, whether the person is active on social media, whether he has made any e-purchase already till today, etc. Now the decision nodes here are what? Questions like what is the age? Fine. Is he active on social media? Did he make any online purchase? And the leaves are the outcomes like either will purchase or will not purchase, right? So in this case, it's a binary classification as you can see, right? So what is the problem? Will a person do online purchase? So this is my class label, whether he'll do online purchase or he'll not do it, right? So the attribute what is used is the age, right? So here what we are doing, the age is used to check if age is less than 40, yes, then you check whether the person is active on social media. If age is greater than 40, then you check whether e-purchase made, whether he made any e-purchase till today or not. Fine. So here you can see the decision tree, a binary decision tree, right? So it consists of the root node, the branches and the leaf node. The root node is the original data, right? Branch nodes are the decision rules and leaf nodes are the decisions, right? They are the outputs, whether the person will make purchase or will not make any purchase, and these will not be divided further, right? Now, let us see construction of decision tree. Now, tree construction from a training set, we are looking at this. This is our training set, right? We are going to construct a tree using this training set. Now, decision tree enables a machine to make some decision. So in this case, this decision tree can be used to decide whether a person will make online purchase or no. Based on what criteria? Based on their age, right? Whether the person will make online purchase or no based on the criteria is. And another criteria is whether person is active on social media and if he has already made some purchase in online mode. So let us see how it is constructed. We can see the root node. We can see the intermediate nodes, right? Now, so here what we'll do is our whole data set is split into two subsets based on the feature age, right? So based on the feature age, we have two subsets. So now age less than 40. So how many records have age less than 40? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All these have age less than 40. Okay. Now age greater than 40 are only two, that is 50 and 54. Right. So age greater than 40. So now using this age as a root node, we could split it into two parts where the age is less than 40 and the age is greater than 40. Fine. So next, now if you look at it carefully, subset 1, this is subset 2. Now subset 1 class labels, you can see there are combination of yes and this one no also. But if you look at the class label of subset 2, it has all the class labels as same, right? So there is no, all the samples belongs to the same class, right? So here you can see 5 samples belongs to subset 1 and only 2 samples belong to subset 2 out of total samples. And in subset 2, all the samples belong to the same class. That means there will not be any further splitting here, right? This node will not be split further and this is a leaf node, right? So we'll not split anything, any node here. But if you look at subset 1, it has yes as well as no. So this node needs to be split again. So now to split this node, what we'll do is we'll use the next attribute, that is social media, right? So we'll be using this social media attribute to split this node. Right? So again, if you look at social media, this is yes, 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 and this one no. Fine. So divide it accordingly. Yes and no. Now check the class label. Check the class label here. You see all the samples have class label, same class label, that is yes. And here the class label is no. That means no more further splitting is required. The class labels are same for all the samples. Fine. Class labels are same for all the samples. So this is also leaf node and this is also leaf node. As you already said, if the class labels are same, no more splitting is required. So it becomes a leaf node. Is the concept clear? You take the age attribute, split it into two, depending on whether the age is less than 40 or age is greater than 40. Now, when you get the class label says same for all the samples, then it's a leaf node, no splitting is required. But when you get the class label different, not all the class labels are same for all samples, then you go for select another attribute and carry out the split again. So here you get all the samples belonging to the same class. So the tree is ready. Fine. Now, what we can observe here every time is what is important is the attribute what we are using to split. What attribute should be used to split, right? Now, if the data set contains n number of features at each level, we need to know which attribute or feature should be selected for splitting. So we are not randomly choosing the attribute. Why? Because if you choose a random attribute, the solution may not be good. So we need to have some measure to find the best attribute So two popular measures are what? Information gain and Gini index, right? To understand information gain, one should know what is entropy, right? So entropy is nothing but it is a measure of impurity in the data set. Impurity means in a subset, if all the samples are in the same class, then the subset is called pure mode. So here you can see this is a subset, this is a subset, right? You can see all the samples are having same class label is same. So we call it as a pure mode, right? And the entropy is 0. Fine. Similarly, if you look at the second subset, it has equal number of yes and no, right? That means entropy is 1. The node is not pure, it is impure node, right? If the samples are equal proportion, then the node is an impure node. If the samples are of the same class, then the node is pure node. So pure node always has entropy 0 and impure node has the entropy between 0 to 1. Fine? Okay. Now let's look at entropy. Right? Now entropy also called as Shannon's entropy. It is denoted by H of S for a finite set S, right? It's the measure of amount of uncertainty or randomness in the data. You already saw what is uncertainty and randomness. That is nothing but purity and impure data. Fine. So here entropy is also a measure of randomness. However, in machine learning, we use it to measure the disorder of the information processed. Right? The entropy or the impurity measure can only take the value from 0 to 1 as the probability ranges from 0 to 1. Fine. Now, if the data set contains more than 2 classes, say n classes, then entropy varies between 0 to log n to the base 2. Fine. Now, lower the entropy in machine learning, the more accurate the decisions or predictions are. Remember, fine. Now, entropy can decide which variable are the most efficient to split on, making decision tree more effective and accurate. Now, what do we say? Like, when do we say the attribute is more effective for splitting? If it does not give much more splitting, directly it gives rise to the leaf nodes. So no more splitting is required and directly you can generate the decision rules. Okay. You can see the formula here. Right? Entropy of P, right? From dimension 1 to n, Pi into log of Pi to the base 2. Now, this is a general entropy formula, but if you want to calculate the impurity or entropy for two different classes, data having two different classes, then you will have H of X is equal to, it is nothing but entropy of X, right? Minus Pi into log of Pi to the base 2 plus Qi into log of Qi to the base 2, where Pi is nothing but the probability of Y, where Y value is equal to 1, right? And Qi is nothing but probability of Y is equal to 1. That is, you can say this is yes, this is no, or you can say this is true, this is false, right? If you have two class labels, yes or no, true or false, fine. At that time, you will be using this formula, right? For two different classes. Right? In our example, if you look at our example, it will be if Y is 1, that means it will make online purchase, and if Y is 0, that means it will not make any purchase. Fine. So entropy gives you the measure to measure the impurity in your classes. Now, the maximum value of entropy depends on the number of classes. Now, in case of binary classification, if you have two classes, then maximum entropy is 1. If you have four different class labels, then the maximum entropy is 2. 8 different classes, entropy is 3. And for 16 different classes, maximum entropy can be 4. Fine. Is this clear? Number of maximum entropy depending on the number of classes. Now let us see how we can calculate the entropy. Fine. Now, in case of binary classification, we already know it ranges between 0 to 1. Now, this is an example of binary classification because we have the class label as yes and no. Fine. And this is the formula for our binary classification entropy calculation, right? Where the classes is 2. Now, let us say P indicates yes and Q indicates no. These are the class labels. P indicates yes, Q indicates no. Now, what we need to calculate the probability of yes and probability of no in our data set. So, In our data set, let's say there are 15 samples. Out of 15 samples, 7 samples have class label as yes. So probability yes of yes is 0.47, right? Probability of yes is 0.47. Similarly, probability of no. So out of 15 samples, 8 samples have class label as no. So the probability of no is 0.53. Fine. Now let's substitute these values into this formula. Fine. So here h of x is equal to minus 0.47. What is 0.47 is nothing but p, that is yes, right? Into log of 0.47 to the base 2, that is log of pi to the base 2, plus this plus here. Fine. Qi is what? No. So what is the probability? 0.53. So 0.53 into log of 0.53 to the base 2. Right? So once you substitute the values, now calculate the logarithms. So here you get log of 0.47 is nothing but minus 1.0893. Here it is 0.53 is nothing but minus 0.916. Right? Carry out the multiplication here, you get this answer, right? Carry out the addition, you get this, and then minus into minus becomes plus. So you get the entropy for online purchase attribute as 0.99745. Now, this is the measure of uncertainty or randomness in data. This is considered as a high entropy. That means a high level of disorder. Fine. In particular, lower values imply less uncertainty, while the higher values imply high uncertainty. Fine. Remember that the entropy is 0 if all members belong to the same class, and 1 if half of them belong to one class and other half belongs to the other class. That is perfect randomness. Here we have 0.99745, which means the distribution is fairly random. Fine. Okay. Let us look at one more example. Now, let us calculate the entropy for age attribute, right? Entropy for age attribute. Now, what is the condition? Age less than 40 will be represented as Pi. Age greater than or equal to 40 will be represented using Qi. Fine. Now, how many samples have age less than 40? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? So, out of 7 samples, 5 of them have age less than 40. So, probability of age less than 40 is what? 0.7143. And samples having age greater than 40 is 50 and 54, only 2. So out of 7, 2 samples have age greater than equal to 40. So the probability is here 0.2857. We know how do we calculate the probability? It is 5 by 7 and it is 2 by 7. Fine. Now let's substitute these values of Pi and Qi in the equation. Fine. So entropy of x is nothing but the age attribute we are calculating. So substitute the value of Pi, substitute the value of Qi, fine. Calculate the logarithms, fine. Carry out the multiplication, add it, and you get the entropy. So here you can see the entropy is 0.863. Still the entropy is nearer to the 1. That means the data has more randomness in the data is uncertain, you can say. It is not pure data. Right? So I hope this calculation of entropy is clear. Now let us calculate the entropy of social media. Fine. Now, if you are calculating the entropy of social media, again you just check how many know 1, 2, 3. How many yes? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So there are 4 yes and 3 no. So out of 7 samples, right, 4 samples belongs to yes and 3 samples belong to no. So depending on the class label. Now if you look at the class label, for no, class label is no. For yes, class label is yes. It is yes, it is same, it is same, it is same, it is same, right? The class labels are same as the labels of the social media. Fine. So out of 7, 4 class labels have yes as a class label, samples have yes, and 3 of them has the class label as no. So we calculated the probability of yes, that is Pi is 0.5714 and Qi is 0.4286. Now let's substitute these values in the equation, right? So again, this is Pi into log of Pi to the base 2, Qi into log of Qi to the base 2. So I'm sure you all understood how did we get Pi and Qi. It is nothing but 4 by 7 and 3 by 7. We are calculating the probability. Right? Calculate the logarithms. Fine. Carry out the multiplication, then carry out the addition. So here you get the entropy is 0.9851, which is a maximum entropy you can say, because it is more nearer to 1. Now let's calculate the entropy of the subnodes. These are the attributes we have calculated. Now after splitting, we get the subnodes. So let us calculate the entropy of the subnodes. Now let's calculate the entropy of node S1 and S2. Right? Here number of classes is 2 with the labels yes and no. Right? Yes and no. Fine. Now the number of samples belonging to no is 1 and yes is 4. If you look at this carefully in S1 node, right? In S1 node, number of samples belong to yes are 4 and no is 1. And in S2 node, all samples belongs to the same class, because we know in age less than 40 we had 5 samples, age greater than 40 we had 2 samples. Fine. So now substitute the values. Fine. So this is Pi and this is Qi. This is for node 1, Pi is 4 by 5 and Qi is what? 1 by 5. Right? So write 1 by 5 into log of 1 by 5 to the base 2 plus 4 by 5, that is yes, multiplied by log of 4 by 5. So calculate the probability 0.2 here, 0.8 here. Calculate the logs. Fine. Carry out the multiplication and addition. Right? So how much is the entropy of S1 node is 0.7219. That means it's an impure node. Why? It has combination of 2 different labels. Right? So here we calculated the entropy of subnode S1. What we did, we counted the number of yes and number of no. Number of yes is 4 out of 5 samples and number of no is 1 out of 5 samples. So we write it here. Number of no is 1 by 5 and number of yes is 4 by 5. Right? So this is, you can say Pi and Q. Right? Now let's calculate the entropy for the second subnode, that is S2 node. Right? Now check in the S2 node, the class label is same. There is no different class label. Both the samples belong to the same class. So there is no Qi here. It will be only Pi. Fine. We are applying only this Pi. There is no Qi here because we have only same, all samples belonging to the same class. Right. So substitute the values here. Now you have 2 samples and both the samples belong to the same class. Right. That is no, multiplied by 2 by 2, log 2 by 2 to the base 2. So calculate, it's 1 into log of 1 to the base 2, that is 0. So 1 into 0, so you get 0, right? So here entropy is 0, that means it's a pure node. Fine. I hope the calculation of entropy is clear. Fine. So when the entropy is nearer to 1, we say the no, it's impure node, and when the entropy is 0, we said it's a pure node. Now, in decision tree, the major challenge is the identification of the attribute for the root node at each level. See, here we calculated entropy. We understood, okay, which is pure node, which is impure node. Fine. So pure nodes are usually the leaf nodes. Now, using this entropy, we want to find out which attribute is good for splitting. So there we'll be using information gain. Fine. Now, the major challenge is the identification of the attribute for the root node at each level. Fine. And this process is known as attribute selection. Right? We have 2 popular attribute selection measures, that is information gain and Gini index. We already spoke about it before, right? Now, information gain is a measure of reduction in entropy. Reduction of in entropy means, right, when we are constructing a decision tree, our aim is to reduce the entropy so that we need to measure how much entropy will be reduced after each split. Whenever you are splitting the attribute, how much entropy will be reduced, right? So when entropy becomes zero, that node is a pure node. As we already saw before, it's a pure node, fine. All the class samples belonging to the same class, and we consider it as a leaf node. So at each level, we need to find a feature which gives us the best split so that we can reduce the maximum entropy. Fine. Now, so information gain is used to select the best splitting attribute when we are constructing decision trees. Right? So if the maximum entropy is reduced, means we gain more information. Right? So let us look at how do we measure information gain. Information gain helps to determine the order of attributes in the nodes of the decision tree, like which attribute should be used for the root node, and then which attribute should be used for the sub-root nodes, and so on and so forth, right? So the main node is referred to as a parent node, there is a root node, whereas the sub-nodes are known as the child nodes, right? We can use information gain to determine how good the splitting of nodes in a decision tree is, right? It can be, right? It can help us to determine the quality of splitting, right? The calculation of information gain should help us understand this reduction of entropy and gaining more information in it. So here is the example. You can see the formula of information gain to calculate. Right? The term gain represents information gain. The term gain represents the information. Right? Now here you can see the formula is given. Right? Both are same. Both are doing the same job. Here you can see, suppose S is a set of instances, right? A is an attribute. SV is the subset of S with A is equal to V and values A in the set of all possible values of A. Then gain is equal to S comma A, which is nothing but entropy of S minus values of A, SV by S. This is what I said just now. So this formula will be more clear once we look at the simply using this formula. How do you put the value in it and check it out, right? Now, a simple example again here. Suppose we select e-purchase attributes for splitting and e-purchase attribute here, right? Suppose we select this for splitting, and if after splitting, if both the subnodes have almost equal number of yes and no, then there is no information gain. As we do not gain any information about the class subnodes. So that is the entropy of the nodes. Even after the split is still high, so entropy is not reduced, so we gain less information. To look at this e-purchase, fine. Now, e-purchase all the yes 1, 2, 3, right? And all the no 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for no this is yes, for no this is yes, for no this is no, for no this is no. Fine. So this one subset will have yes, yes, no, no. That e-purchase value is no, class label is yes, it is no, then this class label is no, it is no, to class label is no. So for all the no value of e-purchase, class label is yes, yes, and no, no. So this is subset 1. And for all the yes, it is, for yes it is no, for yes it is yes, and for yes it is yes. So here should be yes, yes, no. By mistake I have written it as yes, no, no. It should be yes, yes, and no. Right? So here it is combination of class labels. So these are impure nodes. Fine. So you don't gain any information here. So no information gain here. Fine. Now suppose we split the same data set using the feature social media. Fine. Now child nodes are formed based on the values in social media feature. Here we can see that the total number of samples in subset 1, right? The total number of samples in subset 1 all are belonging to the class yes. And similarly in subset 2, right, belong to class no. So here using social media attribute for splitting, we could gain more information. Why? Because we can say that first child node samples will do online purchase, Whereas the samples in the subset 2 will not do any online purchase because the class label here is yes, here it is no, right? So here we get more idea about the class of the child nodes. Hence we reduce the entropy and there is more information gain. Right? So I hope this concept is clear. Information gain, how do we calculate it? And how to calculate the information gain of a child attribute. Now let's look at it. Now this is just a concept. Now let's calculate the information gain. Fine. Okay. Now information gain is calculated by comparing the entropy of the data set before the split and after the split. Right. So what we do, we subtract the weighted average entropy of the child nodes from the entropy of the parent node. Right. Now, so this is the formula. Right. Let us select social media as a parent node, right? And we split it, S1 and S2, right? We split it. So in S1 node, you have all the samples with the class label yes. In S2 node, you have all the samples with the class label no. And we already calculated the social media entropy in the previous slides. That was 0.9851. You can scroll back and check it out now. How do you calculate the information gain? Information gain of S, where S is the parent node. S is the parent node and this is the attributes to the split after the split. Fine. So here what we do is entropy of S, that is parent node, minus 4/7, that out of 7 records, 4 are having yes, into, that is subset S1, right, into entropy of S1 minus probability of S2, that is out of 7, 3 samples have the class label no. So 3/7 into entropy of S2. Fine. Now let's calculate entropy of S, that is the parent node, is 0.9851 minus 4/7 is nothing but 0.5714 into entropy of S. Now S contains 4 samples. All the 4 samples belong to the same class. So it will be 4/4 into log of 4/4 to the base 2. This is a formula for entropy, right? With the minus sign. Then 3/7, the probability of S2. So that is 0.4286. And then multiplied by entropy of S2. Entropy of S2, again, all the samples belong to the same class. So you don't have QI here, it is only PI, right? So you write here, all the samples belong to the same class, so it is 3/3 into log of 3/3 to the base. We have forgot to put the closing bracket. Closing bracket should come here. Right? Now calculate the logs, multiply, again calculate the log and multiply. So it is of course log of 4/4 to the base 2 is 1, that is 0. Again log of 3/2 to the base 3/3 to the base 2 is 1, that is 0. Fine. So 1 into 0 is 0, 1 into 0 is 0. So this thing again multiplied with 0 is 0, and this thing again multiplied by 0 is 0. So it is 0 minus 0. And this is the entropy of the parent node. So entropy of the parent node minus entropy of the subset nodes or the child nodes. So what is the overall entropy? The gain here is again 0.9851. Fine. Is it clear? So here gain is more, information gain is more. Why? Because both the subsets are like leaf nodes. No more splitting is required. We could get the class labels for the samples. Okay. Now, let's try to calculate the problem with the answer. Okay, information gain for the age attribute. Fine. We calculated it for the social media. Now let's calculate the information gain for the age attribute. For social media, we got very good information gain. It was something 0.98. And for information gain for age attribute. Now, again, the formula is same. Here again, we are dividing into greater than age less than 40 and age greater than 40, right? Now, entropy of S we already calculated in the above slides. If you scroll up, it was of age, it was 0.863. Now, Out of 7 records, 5 records age is less than 40. Fine. And out of 7 records, 2 records age is greater than 40. Fine. So it is 2 by 7 into entropy of S2. That is the S2 subset, and this is S1 subset where all the samples contain are where the age is less than 40, all the samples where the age is greater than 40, right? So we have 5 samples whose age is less than 40 and 2 samples whose age is greater than 40. So 5 by 7 into entropy of S1, 2 by 7 into entropy of S2, right? Now, out of 5 by 7, we have 4 samples, right, whose class label is yes, and there is 1 sample whose class label is no. So again, this entropy of S1, this is Pi and this is Qi, right? Pi and Qi for entropy of S1 because the class labels are different. So just check it here. Greater, less than 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? All these have the class label as yes, but 1 sample has class label as no, which is 18 years. Fine. So here these 4 are Pi and this is Qi. To calculate here. So you have 1 by 5 and 4 by 5. But in case of S2, that is age greater than 50, you have 1, 40, that is 1 and 2, and both samples class label is no. So here you have only Pi, there is no Qi. So you just write 2 by 2 into log of 2 by 2 to the base. Right? Now, calculate the values. 1 by 5 is nothing but 0.2. 4 by 5 is nothing but 0.8. Fine. Log of 2 by 2 is 1. 2 by 2 is 1. So now 1. Log of 1 to the base 2 is nothing but 0. Fine. Similarly, calculate the log of 0.8 to the base 2 is this. Fine. A log of 0.2 to the base 2 is this. Carry out the multiplications. Fine. Carry out the addition. And when you solve this, you get 0.3475 as the information gain. So information gain is quite less as compared to social media. In case of social media, entropy was 0 and information gain is 0.9851. In case of age attribute, entropy is 0.7219 and information gain is 0.347. Fine. So you gain more information if you are using social media as a splitting attribute. Fine. Now, another measure what we had of checking which attribute should be selected. Fine. For splitting, that is Gini index, right? This was about information gain. Next, what we have is Gini index. Right? Now, Gini index or Gini impurity measures the degree of probability of a particular variable being wrongly classified when it is randomly chosen. Fine. Now, the degree of Gini index varies between 0 and 1, where 0 denotes that all elements belong to a certain class, or if there exists only one class label. And 1 denotes the elements are randomly distributed across the various classes. So it is again the same concept of pure mode and impure mode. Right? Now, a Gini index of 0.5 denotes equally distributed elements into some classes, like equal number of yes and equal number of no in a samples, right? A feature with a lower Gini index is chosen for split. So here, if the Gini index is lower, it is chosen for splitting. In case of information gain, if the information gain is more, then only it is chosen for splitting. In case of Gini index, if it is lower, then it is selected for splitting. Now, CRT algorithm uses Gini index for constructing the decision tree, which is nothing but CRT use it for regression. Right? Now, let's look at the formula for Gini index. So it is Gini is equal to 1 minus summation of 1 to n Pi square, right? Where Pi is the probability of an object being classified into a particular class, right? It is probability, remember, probability of an object being classified into a particular class. It is calculated by subtracting the sum of squared probabilities of each class from 1, right? Each class from 1. So it favors it favors large partitions and easy to implement, whereas information gain favors small partitions with distinct values. Now it prefers choosing the attribute feature with the least Gini index as the root node, right? So if you are using Gini index for splitting, you select the feature which has the least Gini index as a root node, fine. Now let's calculate the Gini index. Now, again, let's use the same attribute, that is age attribute, to calculate the Gini index. Formula is here. This is our sample data, the training data set, you can say. Now, probability of age less than equal to 40 is 5/7, right? You already know 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 samples. And probability of the age greater than 40 is 2/7, that is 1 and 2. Right? Now, if age is less than 40 and class is no, age is less than 40, fine, here, 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 and here, and class is no. Only one sample has class as no, right? Age is less than 40 and class is no, the probability is 1/5 out of 5 samples. 5 samples are where the age is less than 40, and out of those 5 samples, one of the sample has class as no, and 4 samples have class as yes. 4/5. You can just look at the sample data again. 35 class label is yes, 24 class label is yes, 22 class label is yes, 28 class label is yes, but 18, which is again less than 40, but the class label is no. Fine. So that is 1/5, and yes are all 4/5. Fine. Now just substitute the values here. So Gini index is equal to 1 minus 4/5 square, that is pi square, plus, because it is summation 1 to n, I to n, fine, plus 1/5 square. So 0.8, 0.2, calculate the square, right? So it is 1 minus 0.64 plus 0.04, which is nothing but 0.32. So Gini index here is 0.32. Similarly, now calculate the Gini index for the subset 2, where the age is greater than 40, right? Probability is 2/2. Why? If the age is greater than 40 and class is no, age is greater than 40 is this 50, class is no, age is greater than 40, class is no, fine. Now, age is greater than 40 and class is equal to yes. There is no single record where age is greater than 40 and class is yes, because class level is no. So probability is 0, fine. So Gini index again we calculate here, substitute the values here, 1 minus probability of no, that is 2/2, plus probability of yes, that is 0/2. Take the squares, fine. So what you get the answer as 0, fine. So Gini index here is 0. So weighted sum of the Gini indexes can be calculated as Gini index for the age. Now we calculated the Gini index for the subsets of the age. Now the Gini index for the age is 5/7 into 0.32 plus 2/7 into 0, which is nothing but 0.07. Right? Gini index for the attribute age is 0.07. Okay, now let's calculate the Gini index for the social media. The same thing what we have done for the information gain. Here again you have 4/7. Active on social media, class label is yes. Active on social media, no, right? That is 3/7. There are 3. Here it is yes is 4 and no is 3. So let's calculate. So active on social media 4/7, not active on social media 3/7. So if active on social media is yes and class label is yes, probability is 4/4. Just check it out. Active on social media yes, class label is yes. Active on social media yes, 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 yes here again, yes here. Fine. Similarly, if you check social media no, class label is also no. Social media here value is no, class label is also no, no, and class label is also no. Fine. So if it is yes, probability is 4/4. Active on social media is yes and class as equal to no, that probability is 0/4. Fine. So calculate the Gini index, it comes out to be 0 here, because 4/4, that is 1 square, plus 0/4, that is 0 square. So it is 1 minus 1. So information here, Gini index is 0. Similarly, for the class So active on social media, no, and class is yes. Probability is 0/3, but active on social media is no and class label is also no, then the probability is 3/3, right? So calculate the Gini index by substituting the values. It is 0/3 square, that is 0, 3/3 square, that is 1. So it is 1 minus 1, that is again 0. So weighted sum of Gini indices can be calculated for this social media is 4/7 into 0, 3/7 into 0, that is 0, right? So you can see the Gini index for social media feature is minimum, right? In case of Gini index, what we select? We select the attribute with minimum Gini index for splitting. So here minimum Gini index is there for social media attribute as compared to age attribute. Fine. Even when we calculated the information gain also, you see in case of information gain, we select the attribute which has more information gain. So if you can just scroll back and look at the previous slides, the information gain for social media was more as compared to the Gini index, as compared to the age attribute. Fine. Okay. So I hope Gini index, entropy, and information gain is clear. Fine. Now let's look at the advantages. Okay. Now Gini index for age is 0.07. Gini index for social media is 0. So we observe that social media has the lowest Gini index and hence it will be chosen as a root node. Right? Okay. Now let's look at the advantages. Advantages is what? It is simple and easy to understand. Why? Because it looks like simple if-else statements which are easy to understand. Right? Now, this can be used for both classification and regression, right? Because it can handle both continuous and categorical data variables, right? Continuous variables we use in regression and categorical variables we use in classification, right? No feature scaling is required, right? Because in decision tree, as it uses the rule-based approach instead of distance calculation, like how we had in k nearest neighbor. So no feature scaling is required here, right? Handles non-linear parameters efficiently, right? So decision tree, unlike curve-based algorithms, if there is high non-linearity between the independent variable, decision trees may outperform as compared to other curve-based algorithms. Why? Because the non-linear parameters does not affect the decision tree. Okay? Less data cleaning is required. Another advantage of decision tree is that it does not require much data cleaning. Why? Cases of missing values and outliers have less significance on the decision tree data. So less training period as compared to other forest like random forest algorithm. Right? Now, what are the disadvantages? The very biggest disadvantage of decision tree is overfitting. Now, you can say this is the main problem of the decision tree. It generally leads to overfitting of the data, which ultimately leads to wrong predictions. In order to fit the data, even the noisy data, it keeps generating new nodes, and ultimately the tree becomes too complex to interpret as the depth increases, right? So it loses its generalization capabilities. It performs very well on the trained data, but starts making a lot of mistakes on the unseen data, what you're using for validating your model, fine, or maybe the test data. Then it has high variance, right? This high variance is due to overfitting. There are very high chances of high variance in the output, which leads to many errors in the final estimation and shows high inaccuracy in the results, right? In order to achieve zero bias, that is overfitting, it leads to high variance. Unstable. Now, adding new data point can lead to regeneration of the overall tree, and all nodes needs to be recalculated and recreated. Why? Because again, you have to calculate the splitting attribute values, which attributes should be selected for splitting. Fine. Now, it is not suitable for large data sets. Like if data size is large, then one single tree may grow complex and lead to overfitting. So instead of using decision tree for the large data set, we can always go for random forest. Right? Now, what are the applications? Applications of in day-to-day life, right? It can be used to select a flight to travel. Why? Because again, these are if-else statements. Suppose we need to select a flight for our travel. What we do? We check first if the flight is available on that day or not. If it is not available, we look for some other dates. But if it is available, then we look for maybe the duration of the flight. If you want to have only direct flights, then we look whether the price of that flight is in our budget or not. If it is too expensive, we look at some other flights and we book it. So what here, every time we are taking the decision, if this, yes, otherwise, no. Fine. It can be handling late night cravings, right? Suppose you're hungry at the night. If you're hungry, then you check whether you have money to order food. If you have money to order food, you can order it, fine. Otherwise, you can make Maggie and you eat and you sleep. Right? So here again, at each level, you take the decision. Your first decision, what you take will affect your the next level decision. Fine. Next is what? Predicting high occupancy dates of the hotels, right? So it can predict on which particular dates the occupancy will be. Like it can be like a New Year. If it is New Year, if it is Sunday, the rates may be high. How many bookings are made? So everywhere, wherever you are using if-else statements to make the decision trees are there to help you out. Fine. It can be used for high customer satisfaction. It can be for sentiment analysis. It can be used for engineering, education, law, business, healthcare, etc. Fine. It may be like you listen to the lecture. If you like it, you listen to the whole video. If you don't like it, you just listen to a few seconds and you stop it. If you like it, you listen to the whole video, you might subscribe the channel, right? And you might put a message, a comment. Otherwise, you may not do it. So everywhere it is if-else statements. I hope the concept of decision tree is clear. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.